I thought you were trying to prove that you weren't going to be biased. At minimum, I thought you were at least pretending to be trying to prove that you weren't biased. Perhaps CNN gave up this desperate quest because they knew that no one was going to believe it. Very few people believe anything that they see on CNN, mainly because no one is watching this dump. There are WNBA games on NBA TV that are pulling more viewers than CNN does in prime time. We can't even call this a polished turd anymore. It's not even a steaming turd. Hell, at this point, CNN is on the path to become a non-existent turd. This network is an absolute disgrace. If I worked at CNN, I would be embarrassed to tell anyone that I worked there. I would rather be a Preparation H applier at Club Shay Shay than a proud propagandist at CNN. We are 2 days away from the first and probably only presidential debate. What are the candidates doing to prepare for it? Well, Donald Trump, he hasn't taken a break from the campaign trail. While his unqualified opponent, Johnny B. Biden, he has spent the past week or so in parts unknown studying for the big test. My inside sources, they are telling me that Johnny B. Biden's handlers, they're having a little bit of trouble keeping him focused. He keeps traveling down to the basement to play Dungeons and Dragons with his pretend friends Bart and Gomez. But since this debate was announced about a month or so ago, CNN, they have tried to convince us that they are going to be fair and balanced. CNN has tried to convince us that they are going to be impartial. Yesterday morning, 3 days before the debate, all the hard work that CNN put into polishing that turd, all that hard work evaporated in the span of a few seconds. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. How many of you guys have heard of Casey Hunt? Well, Casey, are you talking about yourself? Is that your last name? No. If it was my last name, I would change it immediately. I would never want any part of my name to be even remotely associated with Hunter B. Biden. But if you're not familiar with Casey Hunt, don't feel like you're uninformed. Very few people are familiar with Casey Hunt because she's the latest huge embarrassing failure to be given the impossible task of increasing ratings on CNN This Morning. Now, you might remember CNN This Morning as the show that used to be hosted by Donnie and his Lemons. Show also featured Caitlin Collins, Katie Roo! This was the show where Katie Roo thought that she was the star of the show, and Donnie had to aggressively remind her that she was there to help. Since anyone outside of her immediate family has no idea who in the hell Casey Hunt is, I took the liberty of finding a picture so you could put a face with the anonymous name. Now, as you can see, Casey Hunt, she has that familiar scowl that is prevalent with people collecting woke welfare at CNN. This is the face of someone who knows that she's going to be out of a job here in about 6 months. Ratings for CNN This Morning, they have went from bad to worse. When Donnie was hosting the show, executives at CNN, they were bitter. They were angry because Donnie was barely eclipsing 400,000 viewers. With Casey Hunt, big star, hosting the show, she's got that number dwindled down to a cool 247,000. 2 weeks ago, I think it was on June 4th, Casey Hunt drew 190,000 viewers. 190,000! I mean, if she continues this trajectory, her ratings are going to be too low to be measured. Yesterday morning, Casey Hunt invited Caroline Leavitt on the show. Now, once you see this clip, it's not going to take you long to figure out which one is Caroline Leavitt. She will be the beautiful woman with a smile on her face who woke up in a good mood. And Casey Hunt, she will be the beautiful woman struggling through the devastating symptoms of OMB. Andre Bad! My everyday viewers, you guys have seen how the symptoms of OMB can devastate the lives of those infected with it. We have seen harsh cases with the Yentas on The View. We have seen the whoopee cushion so badly affected that she's unable to hike her leg and release her boodle breeze. We have seen how OMB has affected Joy Reid, Robert De Niro. Over the years, We have seen countless cases of this devastating disease. But I gotta be honest with you, I don't know if I have ever seen the symptoms of OMB devastate someone like it devastated Kasie Hunt yesterday morning. Poor Caroline Leavitt, I think she forgot that she was appearing on CNN. She was speaking the truth about Jake the Bongo Tapper. She was trying to explain to Kasie Hunt that the Bongo Tapper, he is incapable of moderating this debate. Now, as you guys know, people working at CNN, they are allergic to the truth. And when you combine the truth allergen with a strong case of stage 4 OMB, this right here, this is the end result. Watch for yourself.
Take someone 5 minutes to Google Jake Tapper, Donald Trump, to see that Jake Tapper has consistently,
stop this interview if you're going to keep attacking my colleagues.
Adolf Hitler.
Ma'am, I'm going to stop this interview if you continue to attack my colleagues. I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
Yes.
If you are here to speak on his behalf, I am willing to have this conversation.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay.
Now,
I'm sorry, guys. We're going to come back out to the panel. Caroline, thank you very much for your time. You are welcome to come back at any point. She is welcome to come back and speak about Donald Trump, and Donald Trump will have equal time to Joe Biden when they both join us now at later this week in Atlanta for this debate.
Welcome to come back? She's welcome to come back? You literally just cut her mic because she was telling the half dozen people watching this dump the truth. Kasie Hunt was so flustered she could not close the segment. If you weren't familiar with the symptoms of OMB, you would think that Kasie Hunt was suffering through withdrawal. What the hell was the problem with what Caroline Leavitt was saying? She wasn't attacking the Bongo Tapper. She wasn't being disrespectful. She was just referencing his own words. I'll show you exactly what she was talking about here in just a second. But you know how I would have handled this if I was Caroline Leavitt? This is why I'm not qualified to be the press secretary for a presidential candidate, but you know how I would have handled this? As soon as she started cutting me off, as soon as Kasie Hunt started to get a little bit disrespectful, I would have said, you know what, Cassie? My name is Casey. It doesn't matter what your name is. Cassie, I'm doing you a favor by even being here. No one is watching your dump. Your media career is on life support. I am the most high-profile guest your show has ever booked. I'm not pretending to be a doctor at Woke U like pretend Dr. Jill Biden. I don't have to tolerate or pretend like I am attempting to treat and cure your vapid symptoms of OMB. So I am excusing myself from this toxic environment. Best of luck when CNN fires you here in about 6 months. You know, I don't understand why Donald Trump even has his people appearing on CNN. Hell, I don't understand why he agreed to this debate. I know why John Biden agreed to it. I understand his reasoning. Johnny agreed to this debate because it's being hosted by CNN. You see, John might not know much, but he knows that no one watches CNN. So if Johnny falls asleep during the debate, it won't be unusual, since the few dozen people who still watch CNN, they are watching with their eyes closed anyway. I understand John Biden's reasoning, but I don't understand why Trump would agree to this. The moderators for this debate are Jake the Bongo Tapper and some anonymous woman named Dana Bash. According to CNN, the Bum Squad is qualified to moderate this debate because they have decades of experience working in the mainstream media. That's not a good thing. When you spend decades working in the mainstream media, you end up like Keith Olbermann. Keithy Pooh! Even though CNN claims that Jake Tapper can be impartial, we have plenty of evidence that shows that's just not possible. Same thing with Dana Bash. Her husband, he was one of the leaders in claiming that the Hunter Biden laptop was right-wing propaganda. He claimed that it was Russian disinformation. The illusion of Russian collusion again. Dana Bash, she expressed her fake outrage when the state of Colorado allowed Donald Trump to be on the ballot during the Republican primaries. One of the moderators of this debate at CNN, They don't even want Trump on the ballot. How in the hell do you expect me to believe that Dana Bash can be impartial? With Jake the Bongo Tapper, we have hours and hours of evidence, maybe even days, of his disdain of Donald Trump. The Twitter account In Wokeness, they saved me a lot of time this morning from digging through my video archives. They put together a short compilation of Jake Tapper comparing Donald to Adolf. Watch it for yourself.
The dehumanizing rhetoric of Adolf Hitler is once again alive and well on a national political stage. This time, of course, in the United States. Donald Trump, a couple times over the weekend, referred to immigrants from South America, Africa, and Asia. He did not mention Europe. South America, Africa, and Asia as, quote, poisoning the blood of our country, which it's not hyperbole. That does very directly echo Adolf Hitler's language before World War II. If you were to open up a copy of Hitler's Mein Kampf, you would find the Nazi leader describing the mixing of non-Germans with Germans as poisoning. There's really no other way to say it. Donald Trump's language mirrors this directly.
This is who CNN chose to moderate this debate? This is your unbiased journalist? I know the roster at CNN is filled with unknown, huge, embarrassing failures, but you couldn't think of anyone else? I understand why they didn't want Katie Rue to do this. She was humiliated by Trump when she hosted that town hall with him last summer. But seriously, Jake Tapper is the best you could come up with? Jake Tapper? Was Wolf Blitzer? Woof, woof, woof. Was Wolf Blitzer busy? What about Andy Cooper? Well, those options wouldn't be any better. The only option that CNN really had here was to hire someone from the outside to moderate this debate. There is only one reason that I can think of for Donald Trump even agreeing to this. This could go one of two ways. Number one, CNN is actually impartial. CNN is fair to both candidates. They allow them equal time to speak without interruption. If that's the case, we all know how that is likely to end. John Biden gets demolished. And number two, what we all expect to happen happens. CNN is clearly biased throughout the debate. They do everything they can to make Johnny B. Biden look competent while making Trump look like Adolf. Either way, Trump wins. In the second scenario, Trump comes out looking like the victim. People are no longer uninformed. They know exactly what the mainstream media is. The media, they no longer have the influence that they did in the past. Now, me personally, I would like to see these presidential debates hosted by independent platforms. Give the debate to someone like Patrick Bet-David or Joe Rogan. Give it to people who we know will be unbiased. That way, people can decide for themselves. But that's never going to happen. Never going to happen, because John Biden, he would never agree to it. But give me your thoughts on this. Casey Hunt experiences symptoms of stage 4 OMB, cuts off Caroline Leavitt for speaking the truth about Jake Tapper. Also, give me your prediction for the debate. Will CNN moderate the debate fairly? If they don't, will Trump be the winner anyway in terms of public perception? Will he be viewed as the victim? You let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, and I'll see you guys later.